is a Herculean lift, perhaps, for Antony Blinken. How do you move the boulder in this case?
That's right. So this is his fourth visit to Israel since October 7th. And I think it's interesting. The administration previewed this visit a little differently. They talked about him pursuing a humanitarian pause. And whereas the first couple of visits were all about Israel and showing support for Israel, this one was also about urging Israel to be a little more measured in how it attacks Gaza, to allow shipments to get into Gaza, to allow more people to leave Gaza. And so I think this is responsive to the world. Some of around the world, there is concern about the response by Israel. Also, if you look at polling here in the U.S., the support for Israel has gone down. It's still a majority of Americans support Israel's response, but it's going down. And so the Biden administration is trying to be responsive to that and show that they care about not killing and injuring non-combatants in Gaza as opposed to Hamas.
Let me follow up on that because I think you touched on something that we've obviously noticed in our coverage. I want to share something from the Hill. This is an op-ed, and I think it's fairly instructive. It sort of speaks to what you were just saying. On the battlefield, Israel is showing signs of success in its war against Hamas, but on the battlefield of public opinion, Israel is losing under pressure from massive street protests. Leaders on both sides of the Atlantic have already slid back from the staunch support they promised Israel in the immediate aftermath of the carnage of October 7. In just 3 weeks, that spirit of solidarity has increasingly given way to calls for a ceasefire. To you, David. First of all, I want to understand why this is beginning to happen. And as I've talked to you privately, there is this, on college campuses and elsewhere, there's this feel that Israel's segregated. We're talking about limited access to food, water, sanitation, power, housing, even basic freedoms of movement. This is not a right system to support. That's what some of the critics are saying. So can you understand why there's this battle in the court of public opinion?
I think I understand both sides. I spent a week in Gaza. Even before this crisis, Gaza was a place that was on the brink, where they barely had enough in terms of resources and food. And now, it's starving. But I also understand that Israel has to go after Hamas, and Hamas is interspersed with the civilians. But I think the reason why the world is reacting the way they are now is because they're seeing pictures. And you can't underestimate how impactful some of the pictures and video from Gaza are of little kids, people that we know are not combatants, people that never voted for Hamas, never supported Hamas. And so there's a great concern around the world, and even here in America, to make sure we do more to protect them. And this is the thorny issue that Israel has to deal with.
Final